Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back, C&T Talking Tigers, with our guest host, Kennard Vernon Stewart, our special guest host, my man, my brother in Auburn Arms. We're back. We missed y'all last week. I had a little bit of a incident on a side by side, and thank the good Lord he was by my side. I'm glad to be back. I'm here and back doing what we love to do on C&T. Kennard, how you doing, brother?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. I definitely am glad to be back and talk about Auburn football. And there's lot to talk about. There's a lot of different layers of what is going on from the Auburn landscape. Of course, two straight losses definitely
Mm,
doesn't sit well with the Auburn fan base. But you got to look at it. Two games on the road against two top 10 teams, and you take an inexperienced crew there with you, and they fought to the end, didn't do perfect, but here we are headed into a bye week, and Georgia looms large next week at home.
man, we got some scalded dogs waiting on us next week because I know they weren't happy to what happened to them on their home turf. It seems like they're the big bad bully when it comes to everybody except them sorry suckers up north in Tuscaloosa. And it seems like to be the same layout every time. Alabama goes up big, Georgia marches back, but they lose it at the end. Questionable decision. Kirby could have kicked the field goal and tied it up. Went for it. They had a drop touchdown pass, but Bama had one too. So neither here nor there. But we're here to talk about our Auburn Tigers. We're gonna start out. We're gonna pick up where we missed last week with the Oklahoma game. Kennard, you were right. I think you almost predicted the score just about exactly. I can't. I know you had us losing by a touchdown. I can't remember the exact score, but I think you had us like
Yeah, yeah.
twenty four
I had
cent.
us losing. I had us losing by a score, touchdown score, mainly because for number one, you go on the road against Oklahoma, who has recruited well. They have a great coaching staff. They did a good thing with getting Mateer in the portal at quarterback. They have a great defense. I mean, they have a
Great.
way of making you uncomfortable defensively, and I think they did a really good job of making Auburn uncomfortable and putting Auburn in some compromised situations. But at the same time, I was really proud of the Tigers keeping that thing close, having some opportunities down the stretch. But you can't have this has nothing to do with Auburn's personnel ability wise, but you can't have the procedural penalties and expect to win games that are close. And I think it was just a learning experience for Auburn. A big shout out to Auburn losing 24-17 on the road against a team that could be in the playoff conversation down the stretch. And we will see how the cars may fall.
Well, we're gonna touch on it, man. Auburn lost to Oklahoma on the road in Norman. Uh, we're gonna dive into the stats and then, the meat and potatoes, and then we'll both give our takes on what's going on. But it was a hard fought game. It was a slugfest, which I thought it would be a dogfight. Two of the premier defenses in the nation. I can honestly say it and say it with my chest. We have one of the best defenses in the country. Point blank, bar none. We have an elite defense, and I mean an elite defense. The recruiting, the portal, the guys that Hugh and the gang have brought in. DJ Durkin has done a very good job. Those guys are on the prowl, man. Those guys do a great job. Front seven, back end, like as a whole, you can't ask for much better. Oklahoma, very stout in the front seven. I think on the back end, you might can get them a little bit. Um, but offensively, uh, is where we need to be a bit better. I thought we were good enough to win. Um, the referees did not help us. Me being an official myself, I know how easy it is to blame the refs and say the refs cheated, and I've heard it all before, from little league to junior high to high school to college to semi-pro. I haven't refed any major Division I football. I haven't refed any NFL football, but small college, junior college, semi-pro football. I've done it all. I've heard cheating, blank rim cheating ass refs. I've heard it all. Uh, there were some bad calls. There were some bad calls in that Oklahoma game that swung the momentum and changed what I think could have been the outcome of that game. Uh, we'll start in the first quarter. Oklahoma has the ball. They're on a drive. They hit a receiver. He catches it. He tucks it. Takes a couple of steps. We make a tackle. We strip it. We scoop it. We score. Call on the field is a fumble and a touchdown. Now, I've been made to believe since instant replay has been in effect that it has to be indisputable evidence to overturn calls and that it should end with either uh, calls overturned or the call stands. They overturned that call, changed the entire momentum of the game. Instead of up 7-0, Oklahoma keeps the ball, goes down, score. Now it's 3-0. That was a big factor. Cam Coleman was having his way. He had 3 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown. He could have had even more. There were a couple of calls. There were a couple of pass interferences that didn't get called. I remember one in the first quarter. He caught a deep post. It was a little behind him. He caught it. And even then, there was pass interference on that play, but they didn't call it, even though he caught it. There was a play at the end of the game. He's going in the end zone for a touchdown. He was tackled before the ball ever got to him. No call. Uh, not to say, we depended on the refs, but when there's a call to be made, it needs to be made. Those were big moments in the game. Um, but as far as on paper, as far as the numbers go, because if you watch that game, the eye test told you Auburn passed the eye test, and Auburn probably should have came out of Norman with a win. On paper, the first downs were 18-16. Auburn had more first downs. One of the big factors that I always preach on whether you're going to win or lose is conversion situations, third and fourth down conversions. We were 3 for 15 on third down and 1 for 3 on fourth downs. We held Oklahoma to 3 for 12 on third down. They went for it one time on fourth down. They got it. We had a total of, I think, 287 yards. They had 303. Both defenses came to play. We had 220 yards passing. Jackson Arnold was 220. Uh, Mateer had 271. We both could not run the ball at all. We had 35 carries for 67 yards. That's right about 2 yards a pop. They had 26 carries for 32 yards, 1.2 yards a carry. If you hold a team to 3 for 12 on third downs and 1.2 yards a rush, you should win that ball game. That's a ball game you should win every Saturday. And not only that, we didn't turn the ball over. We didn't turn the ball over. They ended up with one turnover, should have been two. But we didn't turn the ball over. We held them to 1 yard per carry. They were 3 for 12 on third downs. You sounds like a game you should win. Where we lost in the number games, it's cost sacks. Jackson Arnold was sacked 9 times in that game. We only got one sack on Mateer. We were sacked 9 times. We had and another telling stat was penalties. They had 9 for 99. We had 13 for 85. 13 penalties is a lot of penalties. I don't care if they're 5 yard penalties. Those affect the drive, the momentum, offensively and defensively. You're extending drives for the other team, and you're killing drives for your own. So I do not like the penalty situation. I do not like the sack. Some people say, oh, he holding on the ball too long. Some people say, well, he's protecting the ball. Well, we need to find a happy medium with that. And when we transfer over to the A&M game, we'll talk more about that. Individually, Jackson Arnold was 21 for 32, a little over 65%, which is not bad at all. 220 yards. Daniel Cobb I mean Jeremiah Cobb, not Daniel Cobb. I'm throwing back. Oh, it's speaking of Daniel Cobb, I want to stop right there and say rest in peace to Rudy Johnson, Auburn legend. Him and Daniel Cobb came in together from I think it was Coffeyville Community College out of Kansas. They came to Auburn as a package deal, and we all know what Rudy Johnson meant to Auburn. So, he went from a Auburn Tiger to a Cincinnati Bengal. So he was always a Tiger. So I want to say shout out, rest in peace to Rudy Johnson. Thoughts and prayers out to his family, his kids, and everyone who knew him. So from one Auburn one Auburn Tiger to another. Rest in peace, Rudy Johnson. Like I said, Jeremiah Cobb, 6 carries, 61 yards. He popped a 44 yarder. So outside of that, we really didn't get much. Damari had 7 carries, 25 yards. In the passing game, Cam was having his way. Like I said earlier, he had 3 catches, 88 yards and a touchdown. He could have had even more. He should have drew more penalties than he did. Eric Singleton had 9 catches, 60 yards. Malcolm had 4 for 30. On the other side of that, Mateer was 24 for 36, which was not bad. 271 yards. He threw a touchdown, and he was 10 for 29 on the ground with a touchdown. Now we shut down the running game to mostly Blaylock, 11 carries, 13 yards. He wasn't getting nothing. Uh, Jaron Connect for them was 4 catches, 62 yards. Satinga had 9 for 127 and a touchdown. And that one touchdown back to the referees where they ran that little trick play with that wide receiver. The SEC and the NCAA, they all come out after the fact telling us that that play shouldn't have counted. That shouldn't have been allowed. Touchdown shouldn't have stood. It was an ineligible receiver. That does us no good now. In the moment, that should not have counted. That's another touchdown that was on the board that shouldn't have been. So that's 7 points that Oklahoma shouldn't have had, and there were 7 points that we should have had. So the score should have could have easily been flip flop in our way. Both special teams did a good job. Our kicker, Alex, McPherson is automatic Mac. He didn't miss a field goal. Their kicker didn't miss a field goal. It was a great game. Um, my thoughts on that game was coming out of that thing was, man, we won't get hosed again by the referees and play a defense that elite in the same game and be on the road. Everything that came together that Saturday probably won't happen to us again. So we should be in great shape moving forward. That's what I took from the Oklahoma game. I was proud of the way the defense played. I was proud of the way the offense fought. It was a tough game in a tough environment against a tough team with tough things going against us. There was some calls that didn't go our way that could have and should have went our way, but didn't. We lost that game. It was a game I thought we would win. It's a game that if the ball bounces a different way, if those calls go our way instead of the other way, we win. Kennard had us losing that game just because of the situation, the team we were playing, the being on the road, a lot of inexperience on our team. So he was right. I was wrong. Kennard, give us your overall sentiments after hearing the numbers, seeing the game that was played 2 weeks ago. Give me your overall thoughts on the Auburn Oklahoma game.
Well, one of the things you got to look at is you got a lot of anxiety going into Norman. You have a quarterback that used to play for Oklahoma that is going back to the crib, and he's there's a lot of ants in your pants there. But I thought Auburn played a pretty solid game, and they did what I thought they would do. You know, with the 220 passing yards from Jackson Arnold, I think he could rest his cap on that. I thought a pretty good football game. I think Auburn probably could have done a little bit more in the rushing game, only having 67 yards there. I think the biggest stat that stands out when you're on the road and you're trying to, beat a SEC team that has aspirations to compete with some of the better teams in the conference, you got to do a little bit more than 4.2 yards per play. In that game, against Oklahoma, I think you needed about five. I think you need about 5 5.6 yards per play, and you got to be able to push the ball down the field a little bit more, and you got to take away the penalties, and you have to be a little bit better on third down than Auburn was. Because when you're on the road, you got to get all of it. You got to get all of the conversions, and they just didn't. 3 for 15 on third down. That's just not going to get it done. I think Auburn did a pretty good job with 69 plays. They, control the time of possession. But even though Auburn did not turn the ball over, here's the problem. Times in this game, and quarterback sack. I I don't side with these, a procedural penalties when you have some type of momentum, it does deflate your play calling and it does defer your play calling. So I think that's where Auburn was a little bit mishapped in this game and had a great opportunity to win, but miscues really played a big part in it.
I can agree to with you to some extent. I disagree a little bit. Agree to disagree. I think I agree you have to be better in third down situations, but playing an elite front seven the way we were, uh, of course you have to be better on the ground. You want to be better on the ground, but that's an amazing front seven, man. And not too many people are going to be able to run the ball on Oklahoma at will. Now we stuck with the run. I have to give them credit. We ran it 35 times. Uh, we only threw it 32, 33 times. We ran the ball. We tried to stick with that running game, and it was to no avail. There was not many places to go with that run. Which I was a little disappointed. I'm with you there. Uh, but I can agree. You have to be better on third downs. You have to be better when it was only 1 for 3 on fourth down as well. Those numbers 4 for 18 on conversion situations aren't going to beat many good. Not going to beat a lot of teams. Not good teams anyway, especially on the road and especially defenses of that caliber. Um, Took a lot of sacks. I mean, some of those sacks you can be on the quarterback. Some may be on the line. I did think might have held on the ball a little too much sometimes. Who knows? Do you would you rather him throw it into bad situations, a la Peyton Thorne, uh, uh, and what was our other quarterback who came in for the Arkansas game? Who played for Arkansas? Who played in the Arkansas game last year for a minute? Got in there and just threw the Hank Brown. Hank Brown, throw it in the harm's way. Um, so yeah, we didn't turn it over. Like to cut them sacks down. We want to cut those penalties down, but I'm with you 100% on those pre-snap penalties, false starts, illegal motions, offside stuff like that. You can't, especially offensively. You can't have those. You can't have those. That's just a lack of concentration. Any pre-snap penalty to me is just a lack of concentration. That ain't on the coaches. That's on you. Because one thing about it, everybody else knows the snap count. You know it too. So I'm with you on that, man. Um, some play, like I said, the referees played a bigger part in this game than I would have liked them to. I hate to keep harping on that, but if everything stays the same, and the call, that fumble, like if we don't change anything, all the stats stay the same, but we get that fumble and it's 7-0 Auburn, and we get that pass interference with Cam. There was a couple of them, but that one in particular late in the game where he's going up over the DB and DB just hits him and the ball's not even there yet. Clear, I think he was about on the 2, 3 yard line when that happened. Those things those things go differently, we might have a different outcome. But in the same breath, if we don't get sacked 9 times, if we don't have 13 penalties, we might have a different outcome as well. But I went away from that game feeling good about Auburn. going into the Texas A&M game, which we'll transition into now. Now, I was highly disappointed with this game. I don't know about you, but I was highly disappointed with this one. I expected better. Expected better. Um, that I was not expecting that. We didn't play the way I thought we were capable of playing. Uh, it was another tough environment, and just about every SEC stadium that you go into, minus Vanderbilt, maybe, uh, it's gonna be a tough environment to play. SEC road games are some of the toughest environments in all of college football. It doesn't get much tougher than going into Norman. It doesn't get much tougher than going to the 12th man at Kyle Field. I mean, it doesn't get much. Those cowbells in Starkville are hard to deal with. Uh, down in Arkansas, it's a tough place to play. Uh, you go to Kentucky on a given night, that's a tough place to play. I don't know about Missouri, whatever, but Jordan Hare speaks for itself. Brian Denny speaks for itself. Between the Hedges speaks for itself. Neyland Stadium speaks for itself. The Swamp speaks for itself. Going to Texas, that's not an easy place to play. And so I felt like we just dealt with what was going on in Norman, so we should have been, well prepared. And I'm gonna be honest, going before we get into the stats of the A&M game, I'm really disappointed in our offense. Offensively, I'm disappointed in what I saw down in College Station. Uh, as far as execution from the players, play call from the coaches. If I'm not mistaken, I think before the season, Hugh Freeze said Derek Nix calls first down plays. Kent Austin calls second down plays. Hugh calls the third down plays. We need one. We need to be like drumline. We need to be one band, one sound. We need one voice. We need a play caller, one sole play caller calling these plays. If Ken Austin's going to be the play caller, let him be the play caller. If Derek Nix is going to be the OC and the play caller, let him be the play caller. Hugh, if you're going to call plays, then by God, you call the plays. But at this junction of the Hugh Freeze era, with Jackson Arnold at quarterback, with the weapons we have on the outside, with the running backs that we have, I really expected a better offensive product on the field. Um, I gave you, hey, I was with what happened in Norman, great defense, all that good stuff. But to come back and Jackson Arnold be 18 of 33 for only 125 yards, our lead rusher was Jeremiah Cobb, 6 carries for 28 yards. Not gonna cut it. Eric Singleton had 5 for 56. Against A&M, we had 9 first downs. Nine, nine. We had a total of 177 yards of offense against Texas A&M. We had 125 yards passing. We had 52 yards rushing. We should have 52 yards rushing from one person. We had 52 yards rushing as a team in total with Jeremiah Cobb, with Damari Austin, with Jackson Arnold, and with Hugh Freeze over there on the sideline. Supposed to be, offense is supposed to be your thing. And we had 52 yards rushing. Gus Gus Malzahn would never. I ain't saying we should bring Gus back or nothing like that because I'm satisfied with the building of the program. I like the players we're bringing in. I like I'm all about the recruiting. Recruiting had fell off under Gus. It was almost non-existent with Harson. But man, if you got the toys and the weapons, but you ain't putting them in the right positions, what good is it doing? Once again, I will harp every week, every game. I will harp on conversion downs. I will harp on conversion situations and penalties. Against, I had just said against Oklahoma, Kennard, you said we can't win with going 3 for 15 on third downs. Am I right? That's what you said, right?
Right. Yep.
We can't win going 3 for 15, and we did. So guess what? We followed that up with Kennard. We went 3 for 15 on third down and 1 for 3 on fourth down in Norman. We go to College Station, Kennard, and we goes 0 for 13 on third down. 0 for 2 on fourth downs. At the end of the game, we had the ball. It was 3rd and 1. We didn't run the ball that on third down nor fourth down. We didn't line up and just say, let's get a yard. I, I have a problem with that. We didn't even muster 200 yards of offense, but yet we were still in position to win that game. Nope, we didn't turn it over. We didn't turn it over. We cut our sacks in half. We went from 9, but we still was sacked 5 times. We had 13 penalties for 85 yards in Norman, but we had 10 penalties for 69 yards in College Station. Everybody, individually, offensively, we got outplayed. Their quarterback was 15 for 22, 200 yards. We we got an interception off of him. Le'Veon
Well,
Moss, 20, Le'Veon Moss, 21 carries, 139 yards and a touchdown. Concepcion, the guy from the NC State, 7 catches,
I'm
113
gonna tell you
yards,
what. I think you look at the total yards for Auburn, 177, 414,
177. Yep.
and that's all you got. But you look at the final score is 16-10. Here's the skinny on all of this. Texas A&M has 6 point yards per play. They had 21 first downs. They were not that efficient on third down, but they were a little bit better than
3 for
Auburn.
14.
And guess what?
Oh, remember that way.
Yeah,
Hey, if you got one first down, you was better than us. And they
yeah.
only got
And
they were
here's
3
the
for 14 on third down.
yeah, and here's the really frustrating part about this. With all of that in mind, as you mentioned in your comment, Auburn had a shot to win. They had the game winning drive. Of course, we knew not was the game on the line right now. Jackson Arnold just can't. He can't. I don't know why, but he can't. But either way, this is some kind of a light at the end of the tunnel for Auburn. The fact that I mean, you can just screw up to all hell and still be in games against top 5 teams. So what's going to happen if during this bye week Auburn is able to put something there? And we ain't even talking about we ain't talking about nothing monumental. What if you can get 350 or 400 yards against Georgia, or 350 against Georgia at home, which I think you'll be more comfortable.
Absolutely.
Maybe even have a like 5.7 yards per play and give yourself an opportunity to win a game, to put yourself in a position to where you rightfully supposed to be. Because the game against Oklahoma, we can deal with that. I
Yeah,
think what most people are upset about is the outcome against Texas A&M. The
absolutely.
125 passing yards. Like, damn, did you show up? No.
Did you even show up?
But your defense kept giving you opportunities to win that game. And, you know, can Auburn get some kind of run going? Maybe so. I think they can. But you can't do it if you commit the penalties that Auburn has committed and if you are not able to run.
All right, yeah, we lost Kennard for a minute. I'm quite sure he'll be back. But to expand on what he was saying, the defense, yeah, you gave up 21 first downs, but we held those guys to 3 for 14 on third down. They had over 400 yards offense. Okay, I give you that. 207 in the air, 207 on the ground. We turned them over once. We sacked them 4 times. They didn't help themselves. They committed more penalties than we did for more yards. Matter of fact, they committed three more penalties for exactly 50 more yards. They had 13 penalties for 119 yards, everybody. We sacked them four times. We turned them over once. We gave our offense every opportunity to win that game. Kennard's back. Yeah, we gave our offense every opportunity to win that game, and it was 16-10 with the ball in our hands, and we couldn't even really get a play off on fourth down. Uh, I don't know why we just didn't run the ball for that 1 yard to get to 53, 54 yards. Don't understand what the play calling or what the thought process was. But if a team goes 3 for 14 on like 2 weeks in a row, we hold on the road. You held Oklahoma to 3 for 12 on third down. You held Texas A&M to 3 for 14 on third down. These guys committed nine penalties. A&M committed 13 penalties. You don't turn the ball over. Both of your opponents turn the ball over, and you lose. That's not a recipe for losing. Those are recipes for wins. Our defense is showing up every week, and we have to reward that our defense by just being competent on offense. Like you said, Kennard, everybody can kind of handle the Oklahoma loss because offense was there. They shut the run down, but we kept running. Jackson Arnold was efficient in the pass game. We made plays down the field. But geez, Louise, what was going on at College Station? That was just terrible, man. And like I said, at this point in Hugh Freeze's tenure, in year three, when you gave him a pass, year one he was dealing with a bare cover. He he got he brought in some more players year two. Year three, we felt like, hey, we got some talent to work with, some talent to build on. Uh, Jackson Arnold's going to have to get better in the passing game, or Jackson Arnold's going to have to get out the way for Deuce Knight. That's just plain and simple. We went down in a dive. We went on a sinking ship. We rode Peyton Thorne all the way down to the end. We gave somebody else a shot. Then we realized Peyton Thorne was the best we had. We've done the Jackson Arnold thing. We're getting to a point now where he's either going to have to barbecue or meal do. He's going to have to get it together in the passing game, or he's going to have to get out the way, and we're going to have to see what Deuce Knight brings to the table. And that's just where we are at this moment, man. We have to take the bye week to look at ourselves and see, look in the mirror and see what do we want to do and who we want to be the rest of this year. Because I came into this season thinking we were going to fight for a playoff spot. We would be in contention. We had the talent. I I felt like we had the coaching staff to make, and we had a quarterback that could make things happen. I knew our defense was elite. I knew that from last year. Defense kept us in every game last year. And I felt like if we just had a competent quarterback, we could do some things. We could win some games that we lost. Well, I don't. I like Jackson Arnold, but I like scoring points, and I like winning ball games too. And if he's not going to help us do that, if he's going to hold us back, I don't know if him and he together are the problem, or it's one or the other. But we need to get that done, and we need to get that right. So uh, we need to look into it, and we need to figure out who we want to be and what we want to do and how we're going to do it. So with that being said, it's tough. We gotta cut down on these penalties. Even though we went from 13 in Norman to 10. Uh, yeah, we had 85 yards worth of penalties in Norman. We cut that down to 69. Bubba and Bubba, fire freeze. Bubba and the old man say, hey, they want a fire freeze. I'm not quite there yet, but if it don't get better, we're gonna have to do something. Bubba, old man, if it don't get better, we're gonna have to do something, man. Ron, what's up, Ron? What's going on, fellas? What that mean? That's right. Let's not panic. I'm with you, Ron. Let's not panic. Even though we're all frustrated as Auburn fans, let's try to stay positive and support the team we all love. Absolutely, brother. I'm right there with you, Ron. No doubt about it, bro. Uh, I'm not on the fire Hugh bus yet. Not at all. I need to see an improvement. Like last week was very disappointing from an offensive standpoint, and we brought Hugh in to fix our offensive woes. And all I'm saying is now We're going into this Georgia game. We got a week off. We got Georgia coming up. The offense has to be better. We can't keep hanging our defense out to dry. I'm 1,000% with you on that, man. We can't keep leaving our defense out to dry. We have to be better offensively. Like I said, the Oklahoma game, I was cool with that because I felt like we did enough offensively. We outgained them. I mean, we were right there with them as far as yardage. We had more first downs. We ran the ball. Even if you don't get the ball, the yardage that you want, you need to continue to run it and let them know that you're gonna run it. We didn't do that last week in College Station. For what reason, I do not know. But we abandoned the run. We didn't look good doing it either. 0 for 15 on conversion downs. You will not beat any SEC team like that. Vandy's not going for it. Vandy's looking really good. They're not going to go for it. And I'm just talking about, the perennial bottom feeders. As bad as Arkansas look, as bad, yeah, Bubba's already got the fire hashtag going. You're right, Robert. Bubba's already on it. But 0 for 13 on third downs, man, that is not big time football. A&M has a good defense. They have a good team, but they don't have that good of a defense where we can't convert a third down. There's no way we should go a whole game, 15 minutes per quarter, 60-minute ball game, and we don't convert one third down. I don't know who's that more indicative of the coaching staff or the players. It's really 50-50 to me because, guys, you got to execute, but you got to give the guys something to execute with. I don't know if it was terrible play calling. Play calling didn't look that good. This was your wheelhouse. This is your expertise. This is your calling, offense, quarterbacks, play calling. Well, Hugh, you need to do what you do. You need to do what you do because right now I'm having a hard time accepting the fact that we're bad offensively. We had 9 first downs. Man, I'm trying to be positive, but the offense is a complete mess. They're completely unprepared on that side. I feel awful for the kids we got on defense. Bubba and the old man, it's not looking good, man. I was really disappointed. It's like we regressed from Norman 2 weeks ago to College Station last week. It's like we totally regressed, man. And I'm not cool with that at all. I don't know how that even happens with a competent coaching staff, with guys who've been on this stage before, with a quarterback who started at another big time program. We've got the weapons. Our offensive line. I mean, hey, we cut sacks down half. We went from 9 to 5. Hopefully, when we play Georgia, we can go from 5 to 2. But being at home should help us out tremendously. We've been in 2 tough environments. Now we need to bring another top tier team into a tough environment. So hopefully the same problems we had offensively and getting going on the road will will go with Georgia. Um, we play Georgia. We play them tough, man. Last year in Athens, we played them tough. The year before at home, we played them tough. Uh, but tough is not enough. We have to win some of these games. Hugh was brought in to win these games. Now I know it's only year 2. And it's really like his first year with this complete array of talent how he wants it, and we got a tremendous freshman class on deck. That's guys getting better, and I think that the program is as far as the talent and stocking the talent, it's getting better. You know what I mean? It's getting better. It's where we're getting to where we need to be, and we're starting to look like who we supposed to be. But we have to get the product on the field to keep that talent coming in, and to keep these guys from hitting the portal and taking off on us. Uh, we have to win these games, man. We have to win these games. And I'm not one of these people calling for Hughes' job. I want I want the offensive play calling to be consistent, and we have to have a consistent voice, and we have to have a consistent sound. And I feel like we need to have one voice, one sound, and that can help save some of our offensive issues, some of our woes. Uh, Defense, spectacular. These guys come to play every week. Although we gave up 414 yards last week, we gave up 16 points. 3 for 14 on third downs. We got off the field and gave our offenses opportunities. 15 times we had a chance to extend the drive. 15 times we failed our defense and sent them back out there. That cannot happen. 18 times against Oklahoma, we had time and opportunity to extend drives and make things happen. 4 times we converted. We're not gonna win. We're not gonna win games and be who we need to be in that fashion. So we need to take this bye week. We need to shore up some things, get a little healthier, but we need to get some continuity and some consistency on offense, or we're not going to get anywhere. We're going to have some sad shows for the rest of the season. It looks like we lost Kennard. Might be a connection issue. No problem. We thank Kennard for coming in and being with us while Courtney's, getting ready for his big day on his wedding. He should be back soon. Um, Check Kennard Vernon Stewart's show out on YouTube. He's a great guy. He's an Auburn man. He's a God fearing man, and we appreciate everything he's brought to C&T Talking Tigers while he's in Courtney's absence. We thank Esports Media for giving us a platform and supporting us through everything. I want to thank all you guys for your thoughts and prayers for my accident last week. And I won't be on any side by sides anytime in the near future. And if I do, I will be wearing a helmet next time. It looks like I might have been. I'm a lot better than what I was, and I thank God I'm here to still be with you guys. Like I said, had to change my shirt because that shirt went to Norman and we lost. And I said if we lost, I wasn't wearing that shirt. Then we didn't have a show last week. We lost to A&M. It was pretty embarrassing. So I'll take the blame for that. It was bad juju. So I know we won't lose this week. Hey, Bubba and the old man, I really appreciate y'all, man. It was a scary moment. Uh, you know, it was I lost a lot of blood. Could have been a lot worse, but God spared me, man. And we want to thank God, and I thank all my friends and family and all my Auburn people and everybody who supports C&T Tigers for your for your thoughts and prayers and well wishes. But we're gonna go into this bye week. Hopefully we get healthy. We get a game plan. We get a consistent offense, and we get us a win next week. We need it. We need it. I don't want to hit a 3-game losing streak. Didn't think we would. Didn't think that would be an option for us this season. But here we are, and there would be no greater way to bounce back from two awful road losses than to come back with a big win at home at Jordan Hare in front of the masses against Georgia. The only other team that we don't like, there's not another team we don't like more. If there were, other than those guys in Tuscaloosa, we don't really like those Bulldogs. And the only time I ever pull for those Bulldogs is when they was playing those suckers from Tuscaloosa. And they seem to let me down every time. They always find a way to blow it against them guys. I can't believe that. Yeah, facts, 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 facts. Shout out to the young fellas walking in the back. Yeah, man. But yeah, man. Like I said, we appreciate everybody who stuck with us all these years, man. We're continuing to grow and get better, and we're gonna be here every week. We'll be back next week to preview the Georgia game and talk about. Hopefully, we have Courtney back next week with me. We'll talk about this Georgia game and. Hopefully, we'll have something to build on. And the only thing I'm saying, I don't want to fire Hugh Freeze. I like the continuity. I think our coaching staff, those guys, they've done a great job recruiting and putting the team together. I just want to see a better product offensively. I don't think A&M was so good that we could only muster 177 yards of offense. We should have did that. That's little Bray. He's an Auburn fan too. We should have did that. We should have did that and a half. You know what I mean? So that's it, man. We appreciate all the comments, everybody who supports us, who comes through with us every week. From Ron Eagle, Robert, Bubba and the old man, Cam, all of our fans, anybody who's new. Um, but we got to step it up on offense, guys. I can't harp on that enough. I keep saying the same thing. we got to do a better job offensively. We got to run the ball better. Jackson Arnold's got to be better. I'll just say, hey, maybe he had a bad game, but that Georgia's going to tell us a lot. How we could bounce back after this bye week and going into that Georgia game is going to be really, really big for us. And I don't want to be like, hey, where's Deuce Knight? But if Jackson Arnold has another stinker, I'm gonna be on that Deuce Knight train. But I'm behind Jackson on 100%. Don't get it twisted. I believe in Jackson. Maybe he just had a rough game. Maybe we all just had a bad game. But I don't want to have a bad game 2 weeks in a row. Coming off that Oklahoma game and then we just fell flat at A&M. I just feel like we were just totally fell flat. That was not the Auburn team that I expected. That's not the Auburn team that I've seen. That's not the Auburn team that I want to see going into the future. So I believe wholeheartedly in this coaching staff, and I think they can rectify this thing and get this ship right turn the right way. And there will be no other way than to right this ship than to come out next week at home in front of the greatest fans in the land, in God's country, in Lee County, Auburn, Alabama, Jordan Hare Stadium, Pat Dye Field, and get a win against those raggedy, scalded Georgia Bulldogs. So we appreciate y'all for coming out. Thanks everybody for being with us tonight. Uh, that's all I got. So we'll see you guys next week. I think Courtney will be back with us. If not, we'll bring Kennard back. He'll rock with us one more time. So as always, I want to thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night. And whoa, Eagle. Hey.